Hi guys, Dr. Elizabeth Yurth from Boulder Longevity Institute and our learning arm, Human Optimization Academy. I wanted to take a second to remind you about something that we talk about all the time here at Boulder Longevity Institute, because absolutely these little factors are one of the most important tools we have in healing, recovery, prevention, and longevity medicine. And that's what's called a peptide. So what is a peptide? Because we talk about them a lot. And I think sometimes we forget to sort of, again, mention what they are. So peptides are short chains of amino acids. A protein, which you're all familiar with, is a chain of amino acids, and it's over 50. A peptide is less than 50 amino acids, but just like a protein, it's just a chain put together of different amino acids, tyrosine, glycine, all of those amino acids you're familiar with. But they're very cool in that they have very specific signaling that they do within our body. There's over 7,000 peptides, more now, that have been discovered, and each has a really specific function in your body. There's a peptide that makes you tan, there's peptides that make you thinner, there's peptides that help your brain. They have a really short half-life, and that's important. That means they don't last long in your body. So if I give you a hormone, it sticks around for a long time. The problem is when things stick around for a long time, sometimes they have unanticipated actions. If something's not there for a long time, its likelihood of causing any long-term downstream interactions that we don't want is very small. And so that makes peptides both very potent, very specific, and most importantly, very safe. So what they do is they bind to the cell surface and they tell the cell to do something. They're signaling messengers. And that's really cool because it makes them very homeostatic. It basically makes them do what the cell is supposed to do. So we're not really altering the message, we're just encouraging the cell to act like it was supposed to. A peptide you're all familiar with is insulin. And we don't even think about this, but insulin is a really important peptide in our body. It was first discovered way back in the 1920s, and now, as you know, is keeping many, many, many people alive. But if you eat glucose, then insulin is released. Insulin tells the glucose go into your cells, and it goes away, and all is well. So that's how a peptide works. If I do something, I injure myself, then my gut makes more of a peptide called BPC 157, and it goes there and it helps me to heal. So just like insulin, peptides are really homeostatic. They tend to target muscle and fat and liver tissue. So they basically will tell a tissue to repair itself or to normalize metabolic function or to help improve something called brain-derived neurotrophic factor in the brain to help the brain to repair and recover and to regenerate. So we can use peptides, just like hormones. Peptides decline as we age, so we can now upregulate peptides to act on very specific functions and help to repair injury. So we love peptides. They become paramount in our practice. We use them almost as much as we use hormones anymore, and sometimes even more because in some patients they're safer. So I hope that answers a little question about peptides for you guys. There are dozens and dozens of peptides that we use. We all have a very specific purpose. I always tell people it's as much a science as it is an art to use them in the right timing, to use them in the right dosing, to use them for the specific length of time. Those are all really specific things that we look at. So myself, my peptide specialist, will sit down with you and we'll really discuss these really carefully designed protocols of using peptide therapies. And these are going to be really one of the mainstays for both longevity medicine, but also just for you keeping healthy brain, for preventing cancer, for keeping metabolically sound. I hope that answers some questions for you. Please follow up and take a look at some of the other things on our sites. We have a lot of information about peptides on there, and we'll talk to you again soon.